Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus, where we are, honestly, pretty dialed in. 45 wins in a row. A month and a half of, relative, good performances. NYVJ96FF. We got a very interesting start here. Hemolacria, which I've now remembered the name of, apparently. Oh, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going, sir? There's nowhere for you to run. There's nowhere for you to go. It's Hemolacria with a pretty good rate of fire. We are going to peep this right out the gate, which is dangerous, but we knew that we had two of the same pills, so usually that opens you up to being a little bit more okay with it. Because if you there's a number of bad pills that, if you're in certain conditions, become good. So I don't sweat that one as much as I otherwise would have. I'm going to be honest, I think Lemon Mishap is really decent. But I think Telepathy for Dummies, which normally I would look at as like kind of a waste of time, I think is really, really, really potentially good with Hemolacria. Let's see. Not really. I really thought our shots would be more likely to hit, or even guaranteed to hit, but I don't think that's the case. So if you'll excuse me. I think we're gonna go back with Lemon Mishap. I don't see Lemon Mishap, you know, being the one we're taking to the dance for the rest of our lives, but, you know, in a pinch, we don't mind hitting the space bar. Try to see if we can get a little extra cash. You know, I'm trying to do the little things right. The run went up where I spent like 10 minutes trying to turn Butterbean into wait what? People were like, whose man is this? It's me. It's just it's a better version of me that cares about his results now. I hope you're happy to see it. We do, you know what? If we're going to do the little things right, might as well do them 100%, right? 9 volt is, especially at half price, is like, makes this the one time in your entire Isaac career you want to see Pageant Boy on your first floor boss. If we could just get 7 cents all of a sudden. Okay, that was so needlessly dangerous. But Lemon Mishap, maybe it was needfully dangerous, because it did actually get some work done in there. Pretty easy fight against a somewhat difficult boss, and I'm feeling good, dude. Partly because this run is starting with some really decent stuff to begin with, and that don't hurt either. Okay, dude. I popped the pill, thinking like, hey, we've had good luck, let's see if we can let it ride, and they're letting it ride. There's no doubt about that. We're still not going to be able to afford 9 volt, unfortunately, but let's see what's going on in our second secret room, and maybe somehow we can turn that around, but there's no complaining on this one regardless. There's no second secret room? Can it be adjacent to our item room in weird cases? Can it be adjacent to our shop in weird cases? I don't believe the answer is yes. I think we got a no second secret room floor. It happens. Unless I'm reading the map wrong. Oh, I'm totally reading the map wrong. There were 2 secret rooms on the same floor. Store credit. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You really could not ask for, I mean, you could ask for better items, but think about what we got on that floor. 2 speed upgrades, both secret rooms, a tinted rock that gave us a spirit heart, a damage and speed upgrade from the boss, and then the exact perfect trinket. Like, that's really, like, some serendipity. And I'm not talking about the 2001 romantic comedy starring John Cusack, Kate Beckinsale, and Jeremy Piven. I will say that's all I got. I'm trying to... There's definitely a 4th noteworthy thespian in that movie. I don't remember who it may be, though. I feel like Kate Beckinsale has a friend that I would recognize in that movie. You know what? This is where it's going to bother me all day if I don't do this. Serendipity cast, please. Kate Beckinsale, John Cusack, Jeremy Piven, Bridget Moynihan. Molly Shannon. That's what I was looking for. I believe Molly Shannon plays Kate Beckinsale's friend. That makes the most sense to me. All right. Good stuff. All right. Now it's not going to bother me. Thank you for allowing me that little detour there. And, dude, this run is... For a Hemolacria run, it's pogged up right off the get. World's card. Not necessary immediately. And then, of course, Toxic Blood. Not really necessary ever. not a particularly strong item. But that's okay. Again, we got no complaints hither to this point. And as long as we're dealing with terrestrial animals, dude, I am 0% sweating the use of Lemon Mishap. It's not like 9-volt, you know, is tied to the item. Let's try it. That's sunk cost fallacy. We spent so much on it, we thought like, it's gotta be good. How about this though? Oh, what a strange floor. For a second floor, we are like just loaded with huge rooms. That's not what I want. I don't want a place with huge rooms. I want a place with, like, well-designed rooms. I don't live in a city right now where it's, well, let's... Obviously, I do live in a city right now. You didn't let me finish. When I was a kid, like, almost everybody I hung out with just had, like, a basement with nothing in it. And I always, as a kid, it's nice, because you're like, you know, this basement with nothing in it, which, you know, we're pogging up to the extreme right here, just to be clear. This basement with nothing in it becomes like a kid's paradise, right? Like, oh, you could play little soccer down there if you want. You could play a little road hockey down there. But I always, like, as an adult, it doesn't appeal or interest me whatsoever. You know? I don't want that much house. First off, you pay for that much house one way or the other. But secondly, I'm always like, dude, what's the point of having rooms that, like, you don't even use? I'll tell you, right now we have one room in our house we don't use. The room is probably, like, 10 feet by 6 feet, so it's not particularly big. In fact, it's relatively small. Okay, I'll live with that. But the room is soon to be like the baby's nursery, right? I don't think you need to give a baby a 300 square foot room. I mean, it's just, you kind of need like a crib and a changing table and you're good to go, right? So that's all we got right now. Apart from that, every other room is being used. I appreciate that more. I don't want a big house with nothing in it. I get a little stressed out, you know. Sometimes I'll be like watching a video or, you know, I'll be on TikTok and I'll see someone, like, they're filming in their house. Their living room has, like, a couch, and it's, like, 30 feet away from the TV, and there's nothing in between. Or the worst is they, like, split the difference with a coffee table that's impractical to use because you can't put your feet or drinks on it without, you know, requiring some assistance to bring them to your mouth because your arms aren't 30 feet long. It makes me, like, weirdly nervous. I'm like, that's... Why do you have so much space? You know, you got so much space, so many other people have so little. You gotta donate some of your space. Your space needs to be repossessed. You're not using it. What are you giving me, bozo? A damage upgrade? Okay. So you probably don't need me to tell you. This run is pogging up. I would probably only have time for one run today. This is the kind of run that makes you rethink that principle. It makes you rethink, like, oh, maybe, you know, we could always grind the midnight oil a little bit and maybe do 2 runs today. But don't let it fool you. You got to stick to your original schedule. It's like Super Mega Baseball 3 with Malf. As soon as you start swinging, you know, as soon as you go into each at-bat expecting to hit a home run and you're trying to make huge cuts, that's where the game plan falls apart. Just focus on getting on base, pulling it back, and then, you know, running your own game plan. The game plan of time management. Today is Friday, by the way. I had a good day so far. It is only 6:30 p.m., so there's still a little bit of source left. What? was a bit of a slow morning. You know, we did Check the Wire live. Dude, we talk about picking the right curse rooms to go to. Although, to be fair, there's no way we would ever know what was the right curse room, I suppose, if we don't go to all of them. We did Check the Wire live, as always. Nice to talk shop with Daniel, learn a little bit from each other and other, you know, colleagues in the YouTube and streaming space. And then Kate and I had to actually go run an errand, which is crazy, because we haven't had to do that in a long, long time. We went downtown and, you know, it was kind of nice to interface with, like, a real business. Everybody's got, like, a little bit of solidarity. We all got our masks up, and we're like, hey, how was your, like, March to June? They're like, you know, and I'm like, you're darn right I do, because we were doing the same thing. They just, you know, came back. Malf and I recorded a little baseball, but because we recorded on Tuesday, we didn't need to record a lot of baseball, which is nice, and I think that actually made the videos a little bit better as well. We were a little bit less, like, burnt out, and, you know, record a little Monster Train that went well as well. Now I'm recording a little Isaac, and we'll do a little Northernlion tries later tonight. Still a busy day. Just a bit of a later start. Yeah, telepills me, dude. Thank you. Please be aware, by the way, I know that this is the luckiest run you could ever ask for. We've really gotten disgustingly lucky. Every item we've seen, except maybe like Anemia and Bozo, was really, really good. Even Dry Baby is not what we need, but it's still nice to have. So our weekend is coming up. You know, I do take Saturdays off for anyone who's not aware of the context there. Oh, nah, our luck is run out. This Saturday's not really like a super off Saturday. So Kate takes music lessons from her mom. This is a complicated story. Yes, Kate is, you know, she has a degree in, you know, performance of oboe from one of Canada's top universities, I might add. Just like Nathan for you. But, you know, she doesn't have a degree in every instrument. Kate's mom is very musically, like, multi-talented. So Kate's mom is giving her violin lessons right now. But of course, you know, Kate's 5 months pregnant. She doesn't want to go by herself to her mom's house, you know, just in case something comes up. And, you know, moreover, like, it's our day off, so we want to spend time together. So basically what's going to happen, and it's nice, but it is also... You're not going to understand. Some people are going to listen to this and they're going to think what I'm saying is rude and they're not going to understand. And some people are going to be like, I understand 100%. So just work with me on this one before you send me, okay? It's nice. I'm going to be taking some Korean lessons from Kate's mom, and in exchange, I'm going to be giving her some English lessons, which is good. You know, we get a chance to bond with one another. And you know, they're both useful for us. I mean, obviously, like, Kate's mom speaks a little English, but English is very useful for her because she lives in Canada. I know that sounds like I mean it in, like, a backhanded, like, gotcha way, but it's not really. Like, you know, I grew up in a strictly Anglophone, like, fourth-generation Canadian household, so I didn't know what it was like. But Kate's parents, sometimes, they'll, like, text her and be like, you know, we have to do something, but we don't have maybe enough of the grasp of the language to do it confidently, which is really stressful. You know, I know because I lived in Korea. So it's good that we're both getting it done. I mean, why do I need to learn Korean? I don't need to, but I already know a little bit, and moreover, you know, if, obviously, like, we're going to teach our daughter both languages, and Kate will teach her Japanese as well, I think, but, you know, it makes it easier. You have leverage over the child if you also learned how to speak Korean. You know what I mean? So I always encounter these, like, weird family dynamics where people are like in Twitch chat, they'll be like, yeah, so they don't talk about you behind your back. And I'm like, dude, what am I gonna... Everybody's got a cell phone these days, you know? If people want to talk about me behind my back, it's not like learning a new language is gonna stop them. They're just gonna wait till I leave the room. How petty do you have to be to learn a new language so people don't gossip about you? I don't have that spite doesn't motivate me that hard. It's more so that, like, if I'm like, you gotta do your Korean homework, and she's like, why do I have to do my Korean homework if you don't have to do your Korean homework? And I'll be like, you know, Hajima. That means stop that. I don't know that much more Korean, so it's it's gonna take a while. But anyway, what I was gonna say is, I am a little, I wouldn't say hesitant to the idea, but I was like, I didn't necessarily volunteer for it because it is also like, you know, my one day off from the week, and you know, my free time is very much limited and at a premium, and I'm very protective of it. But it's a nice thing to do. Plus, realistically, it's not going to go on that long. Because after we have the child, I'm pretty sure that these, like, Saturday violin lessons are going to fall by the wayside a little bit. We got to have bigger priorities, you know? I'm excited to see how it goes. I will say, you know, flashbacks to being an ESL teacher. I'm not too excited about that part. And, you know, I am doing it for free, which is pretty crazy because, I mean, when I lived in Korea, I don't know, I didn't do any private lessons, but if you take my salary and then apply it to, you know, like the amount of money I made per month versus the amount of time I invested into teaching, I was getting paid like $3 to $4 an hour. So really, she's getting a heck of a deal. I mean, I should be charging her the price of a grande iced coffee from Starbucks were it open for this, but you know, that's okay. She's family. I'm not gonna make it weird like that. Yo, Magic Mush is very good. I do want to take a moment to point out some hypocrisy. I will say, and it's a little straw man, but sometimes people will say things like, you have the opportunity to get like free Korean lessons and you're not 100% stoked about it. Let me tell you something that's going to shake you to the core. You have the opportunity to get free lessons in anything right now via the power of the internet. I'm talking English, French, Russian, Japanese, Korean, Mandarin, Chinese. Oh yeah, also programming, cooking, woodworking, you know, auto repairs, home repairs, etc., etc. And you're going to be like, it's not the same? You're right, it's not the same, it's better. I don't think something about this just scares me right now. I don't want to tip over the apple cart. Hold on. I don't know how it works, so let's do it. Oh, it's just like strictly better. Alright, that's amazing. So anyway, that's going to be a lot of my Saturday, but that's cool. You know, I mean, and I talk a lot about, or less lately, I should say, but I've talked a lot about aging, but I really think that's partly because, you know, I think me and my audience, and that means you, kind of exist in a similar sort of, or if you're not there, you will be soon, or you were recently. I'm kind of at that precipice where you move on from, like, you know, when people call you young man, you know, like when you're in like your 20s and maybe even early 30s, to like just man. And I think about, like, you know, what was a Saturday like when I was like 20? Well, it's a lot different than the Saturdays I have now, but it's also a lot different than like the Saturdays my dad had when I was like 10 and he was 35. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to transition, I think, into those dad Saturdays. A dad Saturday is, and again, I guess it depends on your upbringing. But a dad Saturday for me, like when I think of my dad's classic Saturday, one thing's for sure, he did not sleep in. And my parents always told me, like, when you get older, you can't sleep in. And I always thought it was like a medical thing, right? Or like, you know, because you're so used to getting up early on the weekends, it's hard to, or in the week, it's hard to sleep in on the weekends. I think there's an element of that, for sure. But I also think that, you know, the older you get and maybe the more stuff you're doing throughout the week, you don't want to sleep in anymore. You want to wake up and make the most of your day off, right? You realize that, you know, sleeping's great, don't get me wrong, but, you know, having a little bit more free time and sacrificing a little bit of sleep to make that happen is maybe acceptable. That's my hypothesis. Don't quote me on that one, necessarily. But then, like, my parents would cook, like, a big breakfast, which was awesome, of course. And then you're like, why are they cooking a big breakfast? It's because, oh, they don't have the time throughout the week. They're eating, you know, toast and Fruit Loops. But don't worry, they've moved on to, like, mueslis and brands as they've gotten older. It's a good thing. And then they would clean the house, which took, like, you know, an hour and a half to 2 hours. This is around the time maybe I would start waking up and reheating that breakfast. And then they would, you know, go run all the errands that they have to run. Go grocery shopping. Oh, the light bulb's out. We're going to have to get a new light bulb from Canadian Tire and yada, yada, yada. And then, like, eat lunch at a combination KFC Taco Bell, which was a treat. Come home. They've lived a full day. It's like 12:30 p.m. They might watch 30 minutes of television, and then my dad would get a little restless and be like, I'm just gonna rip up the hardwood in the basement and put in nicer hardwood, you know? That's what like a dad Saturday is like to me. And I think, you know, I got some growing up to do. I think I'm getting there, but I think, you know, probably my dad had some growing up to do as well when he was, before he had me. You know, but it's very easy, I think, especially online, depending on your familial obligations. Maybe you think to yourself, you know, like, oh, I worked for the week. The last thing I want to do is, like, you know, go get Korean lessons on my day off. But at the same time, I think about, like, you know, my parents. It's like, you know, my mom and dad worked, like, a long week. And then Saturday rolls around, and you're like, oh, it's the softball tournament. You know, it's Ryan's softball tournament. We got to go watch 10 hours of 7th grade softball, but it's not even like they're really that good. It's just a recreational league, and there's nothing to do. You just sit on these uncomfortable wooden benches for for the whole day, and then hope your kid, like, has fun, but also on the other hand, like, just hope that your kid doesn't, like, end up in tears somehow, right? You think that's what they wanted to do after? You think if they were given the choice, that would be their #1 recreational activity? No. However, you know, you make choices in life, and I'm more than content. I'm actually happy with this one. I finally feel like my bizarre, like, old, before his time philosophy makes sense, where I'm like, you know what? I just had, like, a decade and a bit where I pretty much had the ability to choose to do whatever I wanted to do at any given moment. It's time to live for some other people. It's time to pay it forward a little bit. And then, like, you know, when they're out of that house, then we'll maybe talk about setting up a billiards table in the basement. But anyway, for now, thanks for watching. This is an incredibly short Isaac run. I hope you enjoyed it, though. If you did, please do click the like button. That's win 46 and an easy one at that. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with another one. See ya. Just got to find the button here, and I'll see you.